Welcome to the Laurent Collective podcast, where we go deeper than just surface talk.
Each week, we'll explore everything from family, business, creativity, culture, and faith.
To make sure not to miss an episode, be sure to subscribe and hop on to Instagram at Laurent Collective to chat with us about this episode.
Summer is here, which hopefully means slower days, some time off, and more family time. With this in mind, we're doing a summer series of shorter podcasts with some quick thoughts to encourage you. We hope these are fun for you to listen to while you enjoy your summer. So recently, Instagram has made an announcement, I guess you could say. Something
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
Of them.
You see these things more than I do.
know.
So I don't-
It's caused a lot of drama, shall we say, of being more of a video-focused platform than images.
Which makes no sense.
It does
to
not.
me.
Instagram is images. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's the reason why I go there.
And basically,
crazy.
they're trying to compete with TikTok. We're not going to get into our feelings totally on it and everything
Sure.
like that. But I think what it brings up and brought up, and we thought we'd just do a little quick thing of encouragement is, and we've said this before, it's the idea of putting all of your eggs in one basket. And if that is social media for you, and you're like, but I only post images and I don't want to do videos or reels or whatever the next thing will be for them, is the idea that social media is a tool.
Yeah,
it's not a
definitely is.
means to an end when it comes to your
it's
business.
it's just one aspect of your business. It can't be the whole thing. You know, if you're relying on social media to create the success, or you're hoping that social media will be the thing that brings you success in your business, you're probably not going down the right track.
And the reason why I think people fall into that path or that track of trying their hardest and hardest and hardest with social media is because we do see people. I follow plenty of people that I know have very successful businesses, and it did build up on social media. It
Sure.
wasn't the way.
Yeah.
The way they ended up doing it was pulling those people from social media to get onto their newsletter. And a newsletter, again, is another tool. It's not the only tool, but I think that's just something to keep in mind that if you have a large audience on social media, there's certain ways that if something goes away, if Instagram goes away tomorrow,
Yeah,
if
what are you gonna
TikTok
do?
goes away tomorrow,
What are you gonna do?
Name the platform. If any of those things go away tomorrow, what happens? Have you lost all of your business because of that? And so think through that. What are the backup plans that you have, and what can you start putting in place? How do you get people to sign up for a mailing list? We're not spamming them. That's not the point. The point is to provide them with something, to provide them with whatever your unique thing is that you offer and you can offer to them. So figure that out. Also, SEO, for us, our website traffic comes from two sources mainly. And one is SEO, which is all a complicated thing. We'll link a course that I highly recommend from our friend Maneksha, who does SEO, because it makes my brain swim and I don't understand what's exactly all of the ins and outs of it.
I barely understand what SEO means.
I know.
So.
Search engine optimization.
I
which,
know.
Okay, well,
it's just,
it
it doesn't make sense in my brain.
It doesn't.
all,
Yes,
so.
exactly. But that's why that are people that's their thing and their path and their unique thing that they understand it. It can make it more understandable for those of us.
But it is so beneficial.
Exactly.
to have
So
that
that's
set up.
the number one way. And then for us, Pinterest is actually the second website traffic for us. Again, we don't want to put all of our eggs in just that basket, because
Right.
anything could change with Pinterest as well. And they're starting to do more video stuff too. I think everybody
Yeah.
sees TikTok and everyone's like, videos, which Pinterest in the past has been images. And then, the third is Instagram stories. And then bottom after that, our email list actually, and then Instagram. And so that's really interesting to look at and see where your traffic to your website is coming from. You can do this on Etsy too, if you're selling on Etsy or anything like that. We have a Shopify, any of those places, you're going to be able, you again can sign up for Google Analytics, and see where your traffic is coming from. And this is so helpful because sometimes we're spending so much time in a place like social media and we're putting all our eggs in that basket, and it's actually not the one that's bringing traffic. And I will be honest, that was us. We were spending a lot of time on social media.
Yeah. Oh, specifically Instagram. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, that's we grew a following in our audience through Instagram, but yet that's not what maintained us.
Exactly. And our following has kind of like just maintained.
Yeah.
It hasn't had any large jumps or anything in the past couple years. And we're okay with that because we realize like that's not where stuff is coming from. I've heard several people say, Instagram in some ways and some of the social media platforms can be a bit of a vanity metric of like, ooh, I've got this many followers. And we've talked about this before and stuff like that of just those numbers don't necessarily mean that your business is successful. If you've hit the 10K mark, okay, like, are you getting business though?
Yeah.
Is that driving business? Yes, again, it's a tool, but is it driving business? And I think that has been huge for us to think through. And I'm thankful that we kind of, in many ways, where I felt like we were spending so much time on it before, have taken a step back to focus on some of those other things. And like just and be able to refocus, I guess, is the I think we're not ignoring it completely.
No, I think the biggest thing about it is understanding who your people are, who your audience is, and then how do you engage with them? How do you connect with them? So some of that might be through social media. There might be other ways that you engage with them, like a newsletter or a YouTube channel, or like there are so many other ways than just social media or like just Instagram to connect with your audience that you can really create devoted followers and people that want to invest in your business. And so if you get stuck in that rut of like, well, nothing's happening, but I have this many thousand followers and nothing's happening, maybe it's just that audience isn't quite, they enjoy maybe seeing your stuff, but maybe that's not the people that are really devoted to you and your audience or in your work and what you're doing. So I think, it's just understanding and finding ways to engage with your audience that are your biggest fans.
Well, and it's understanding where, like you just said, where they are.
Yeah.
So for us, a lot of the people that follow us on Instagram are actually other artists or creatives. Not people that are maybe looking to purchase a mug with, a saying on it or something like that. And so that's interesting. I think we realized that after paying attention for a while, of just like looking at who's following us, the type of people and that kind of thing. Whereas there's some other people I know that we follow that they have creative businesses and they do have more of like their customer base that is following them. Yep. That's just not how our Instagram has grown, which is interesting. That's why we offer things for creative businesses and we see that need and everything like that. Whereas on Pinterest, people are going there for looking for things for their home and gifts and cards and things like that, where that then is obvious why we're getting that connection into those shops for us, where that is. Now, again, like Instagram has been huge in the past year and a half or so. Like that is how Pat landed a children's book illustration job. But it wasn't because the person said, I saw your work on Instagram. And then and from there, the relationship started and everything like that. So that stuff does happen. That's why we're saying you don't need to ignore it completely, but you also don't, and it's funny that happened because that is about the time that we were like, I don't think we want to spend this much time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I did my whole block scheduling thing where literally I write our social media post for Instagram in a 3-hour block once a month. And then, yes, each day I go in and I make those posts and I'll, respond. Like we're building a relationship with people. So I will respond to people's comments. Actually, a lot more of it happens in stories and people sending us messages and direct messages and stuff like that there. That's actually way more where our engagement is now than comments and all that stuff like that. So I do go on there. Again, it's very limited each day. And there are some days that I haven't been on there. We take our weekends off social media and stuff. And so there are a lot of times where I go on and it's been 3 days. Somebody's replied to a story and I can't even see what story they replied to because it's already gone. But again, so it has its usefulness. There are great things about it. People can find you on there. Actually, and there are several other book things that Pat has in the works that also came from Instagram. But you never, again, I do want to say with one of those, it was this really strange out of the blue thing that happened. That there was one post that it didn't go completely viral, but it went a little bit more viral than what we were used to and getting likes and stuff on it was the most obscure random thing. And
I don't understand.
And that is how someone else happened to see us. Like, again, we did nothing. We couldn't tell you why that happened. And so I think that's what's important. There are plenty of people that probably will say they can teach you how to go viral. I don't know if that's true or not. I have a little bit of a jagged edge of thinking that maybe is not valid.
I think it's just,
but you can't bank on that. Like, that is not something you can hold out. That is not the way to run a business, is to hold out for something to go viral. Like,
I just think as you say that, like, yes, there might be strategies and formulas that you can use on those different platforms and stuff like that, but ultimately people have to buy into you.
Yes.
And what you're doing and how you're creating, or the type of products that you're putting out in the world. Like, they have to really buy into that in order for your business to move and I guess in some ways be successful. And so I think, yes, you can be an overnight, I've listened to so many podcasts, I feel like, that have talked about, somebody goes viral overnight, but and like then it's like this quick flash in the pan, but then after that thing is done, like, nothing happens for them creatively and things like that. And so I think, again, it's just for me, it's always a reminder that, we need to be paying attention to people that love what we do, and understand what we do. And we need to continue to engage with those people, whether that is through social media or, different outlets, or, who knows. But I just think it's, yes, there are strategies to all those things. We haven't ever really engaged with a lot of those, but, I'm sure that some of them do work. Some of them might not work. I don't know. But I think it's more about connecting with the people that love what you do, and what you create, and really stepping into those relationships and continuing to build upon those relationships. Because what is going to happen in any business that we've ever had, word of mouth is the best way to grow your business.
Exactly.
For us. That's how it's been.
People understanding what you're about, like you just said, that has been the number one thing. Is as soon as we were to clarify, like, our purpose and what we do and why we do it, and be able to communicate that is 95% of the messages that we get on Instagram and direct message is questions about that. How did you figure that out? How did you, tell me more about that, or those kind of things, or this is kind of what I'm thinking. And that's why we're offering a course in that and stuff to help people get to that, because it changed our business. And what it did for us, because our purpose is not to grow a social media following. Right. It is to, we've got a different purpose. It does help us too when we go onto social media. I'm like, well, gosh, like, there's a girl that is somebody's daughter I know here, and she has gone on Instagram and is selling some really cool creative things. And she's grown her following from like 0 to 6,000 in less than a month. And then I see that, and currently we're not even at 6,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? And I start getting sucked down the rabbit hole of that. Well, first of all, she's a teenager. And so it's very different in how she goes about doing things. And if we try to do that, like watching some of her stuff, I'm like, oh, that totally works for her. That would look so weird if we did that stuff. That's not us. Like, don't try to be something you're not because you see someone else being successful in it. And she's doing something that's very, like, trendy right now, too. She's making a product that is super, super trendy right now. It could totally last. I don't know. Yeah. But, like, again, it's not something we're going to make. Like, that's not our business kind of, thing. That's not our purpose in it. So, again, we could see her and be like, oh, awesome, cheer her on and that kind of stuff. And, like, cheer someone else's success on. But realizing, like, that's just not our story. That's not our path and things like that. And so I think that's just vital to keep in mind. Like, for us, the thing that changed our business was understanding the purpose and stuff. All of our eggs are in that basket because it is the basket. Haha.
Yeah, I guess.
The purpose part is the basket. And then the eggs that we are building our business upon go into that. And so that is, newsletter, social media, SEO, Pinterest, like I could keep going, of the different licensing, like all those income streams we talked about in a previous podcast, like those eggs all go into the foundation, which is the purpose. Yeah. And so I think just as so many of you might be like, this is just one of many announcements that always happen throughout a year. It's, Facebook is changing this and this is changing that. Like a lot of the Pinterest people I follow, it has been like, what do you mean we're doing video stories now? Like,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. It throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to say, like, build your business, like we've said, focus on some of the things, see what is your traffic comes from. And if it is social media, how can you have a backup plan to that? Because I do know there are some people I feel like that's more on the rare side, but if that is the case, what does it mean to then have a backup plan and start funneling some of those people to build, your email marketing and things like that up? Because ultimately, like, something could happen. Your account could get hacked. I've seen tons of people that happen recently too. Your account could get hacked and that's gone, and it takes you forever to get back on. So just think through those type of things, and it's an encouragement to not let whoever the big people are and algorithms and all that stuff, to not let that like get you down and that kind of thing. Like, it will be okay. Like, just do some switches if you need to, and add another egg, take out an egg, whatever it may be in that basket.
Just understand who your audience is, who your fans are, and
who buys for you too.
And really build into those relationships and be where those people are, and understand why they love what you do, because there might be something in that you might not have recognized quite yet that you can build upon that could create and generate more fans. So it's just it's really understanding and building those relationships, and you can do that in many different ways. It's not just social media or whatever one single egg that you might be focusing on. So
we encourage you to just take a deep breath.
Yes, take that humongous deep breath.
Take a deep breath, calm down, and whatever the change is, that by the time you're listening to this, who knows, maybe Instagram will have said, just kidding, we're going back to being photos focused, because
I hope so,
there's an uproar.
Instagram to being video based,
it's weird.
I'm not a huge fan of that. That's why this other app started. So it's that.
Exactly.
That's why TikTok started.
I know. But anyways, take a deep breath.
Yikes.
Take a second to just take a break, come back to things with fresh eyes, figure out like what is the reason you're in business, and then what are the things that help build that. And that will hopefully make you be like, just calm down a little bit, and it will be okay. Exactly. We hope that's an encouragement to you.
You'll make it.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Laurent Collective podcast. If you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review, which helps others find our podcast. Continue the conversation with us over on Instagram at Laurent Collective.
We look forward to going deeper than just surface talk with you again next week.